Salaman, salama, peace be upon you, peace be upon you. Why? Because the only true peace which you can achieve will be in Jannah, in the best of abodes. So, now we see true peace is only on the Day of Judgment. Now going back to the topic of Muharram, there is a riwayah in the Sunan of Ibn Majah al-Qazwini, narrated on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, where a man came to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he asked him, which fast is the most virtuous fast after the month of Ramadan? And so Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that Shahrullah الَّذِي تَدْعُونَهُ مُحَرَّمٌ, that the best fast that you can do after the month of Ramadan. We know all of us fast in the month of Ramadan. We know the virtues of fasting in the month of Ramadan. مَنْ صَامَ رَمَضَانَ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ, that whoever fasts in Ramadan with complete conviction that this is going to, Allah Ta'ala is going to see our fast. Allah Ta'ala is going to reward us for our fast. He's going to see the struggle we are going through. Then غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ, that their previous sins will be forgiven. So, we know the rewards, and we have heard throughout the month of Ramadan, and we have read the various books regarding the virtues of fasting in Ramadan. And now imagine, what could be the greatest fast after this? So the Sahabi asked that, what is the next best thing? You know, Ramadan passed, what's the next best thing I can do? So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Shahrullah, the month of Allah. Now you might be wondering, what is the month of Allah? الَّذِي تَدْعُونَهُ مُحَرَّمٌ, that which you know as Muharram. Now, this month is known as the month of Allah Ta'ala. And similarly, it is the month where Allah Ta'ala saved Musa alayhi salam and his followers from Fir'aun. Now, there are many connections we can make between the month being known as the month of Allah Ta'ala, between Muharram and Musa alayhi salam, the story of Musa alayhi salam being saved from Fir'aun. Dear friends, the wisdom and the planning of Allah Ta'ala is something which we can never even hope to try to understand or perceive. Rather, our job is to completely submit to Allah Ta'ala and trust that He will take care of us. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Whoever is conscious of Allah Ta'ala, يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا, He will make a way out for him. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah Ta'ala will provide sustenance for this person from where he could never even imagine. He would never think that, you know what, my sustenance, my way out would come from this avenue. But Allah Ta'ala, His plan is something which we can never hope to perceive. And Allah Ta'ala will make it happen. And the submission of Allah Ta'ala is something which isn't just in salah. The having consciousness of Allah Ta'ala isn't something which is just in salah. Rather, it is at all times that we have to submit to Allah Ta'ala. Our ulama mention that even our aql, our rationale, is a tool for understanding the divine law. Qari Tayyib rahimahullah, he beautifully mentions this concept in his book, Maslak Ulama Dewband, and where he says that the aql is mawdi'ul ahkam. It is not mujidul ahkam. That is the place where the ahkam reside, where the divine law resides. It is not the inventor. It is not the creator of divine law. It is the mudrikul ahkam. It is not the munshi'ul ahkam. It is that which is used to understand divine law. It is not that which has the level of creating law. That it is the khadim of the hakim. It is not the hakim itself. And this is true submission. Where we say, oh Allah, I am completely in your service, even my most distinguishing feature. You know, many of us may have studied mantiq. We know the fasl of insan. The distinguishing feature of insan is what? An-natiq, rationale, having the ability to rationalize things. That even that is in the khidmah of Allah Ta'ala. That I have no power over anything, even my most distinguishing feature. It is used for your service, O Allah. It is used for understanding you. And the story of Musa alayhi salam is filled with this concept of submitting yourself to Allah Ta'ala, that completely trusting in Allah Ta'ala, not questioning Allah Ta'ala, rather just going through with what Allah Ta'ala wants from us. And we see the help of Allah Ta'ala coming from unsuspected places. We don't have time to go into the entire story of Musa alayhi salam. So, you know, for example, when there's a game, or when there's a game of sports, sometimes people just watch highlights. So we'll just go into one highlight amongst the entire story of Musa alayhi salam. This is not like a game of sports. Rather, the entire story of Musa alayhi salam is filled with benefit, is filled with stories and things and lessons and admonitions which we can take. So I'll just fast forward all the way to the end of the story of Musa alayhi salam when he was saved from Fir'aun. There is even more, but just to this one portion of the story, one snippet of the story. So the day of Ashura, right, Musa alayhi salam at night, he receives the command to travel with his followers. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ أَسْرِ بِعِبَادِي, that travel in the middle of the night. So Musa alayhi salam and his followers, they travel, they leave the kingdom of Egypt, and they were heading towards Sham. And they had to head towards the direction of the north. However, something may have happened. Again, this is all the plan of Allah Ta'ala. Things will not always go our way. They ended up traveling east from Egypt. And so they're traveling throughout the night, and suddenly they reach a roadblock. What is this roadblock? The Red Sea. How are they going to cross this? They traveled on foot. They didn't carry boats on their back. They didn't have a pickup truck which carries a small boat on top of it. No, they had nothing. They were on their feet. How are they going to cross the ocean or the sea? And suddenly they see from behind them a cloud of dust spiraling. And this isn't a cloud of dust coming from the wind. This is Fir'aun and his battalion who are chasing them and are saying that, you know what, this is a small group of followers. This is the last straw. We're going to get rid of them completely, and we are going to live just how we wanted to live. Fir'aun implanted into the hearts of the people that Musa alayhi salam, he wants to get rid of your perfect way, of your freedom where you can do whatever you want. وَيَذْهَبَا بِطَرِيقَتِكُمُ الْمُثْلَى, that he will remove you, expel you from your lands, and remove this perfect system that you have. That now, finally, we are going to get rid of Musa alayhi salam. We are going to get rid of all of his followers. And so they see this. And now the followers of Musa alayhi salam, they're seeing Fir'aun coming closer and closer. And they're thinking that, what's going to happen to us? إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ, that we will be completely overpowered by the people. We'll be surrounded by them. They're saying, oh Musa alayhi salam, how could you do this? We trusted you. We left our land. And now what is happening? We are stuck at the ocean. We are going to die. How could you do such a thing? We put our complete trust in you. We left in the middle of the night. We had families, we had wives, we had children, but we left aside all of that and we traveled with you, and now we are going to lose our life? What kind of treachery is this? And so Musa alayhi salam, he didn't say that, how could this be? How could I make such a mistake? That where did I make an error? He didn't say, oh Allah, how could you do this? I am a prophet of Allah Ta'ala. I am from Banu Israel. I am from that lineage where there is a Nabi ibn Nabi, where there is a prophet who is the son of a prophet, who is the son of another prophet. That I come from such a blessed lineage. How could you let me go to waste over here? He didn't say, oh, you know what? Let me go talk to Fir'aun. I'll figure out something for you guys. No, even at that moment, he was a Nabi of Allah Ta'ala. At that moment, he didn't say that, I will find a way to help you guys. He said, Inna ma'iya Rabbi sayahdeen. My Lord is with me. Sayahdeen, surely He will soon guide me. For those who are studying Arabic, we know that when a scene is added to a fi'al mudari' is mustaqbal qareeb, that very soon Allah Ta'ala will guide me. He will show me the way. And so what happened? Musa alayhi salam, Allah Ta'ala made a way for the ocean to split, and Banu Israel crossed it. And then Fir'aun, even at that moment, you see the epitome of stupidity. He sees all the signs and all the signs of Musa alayhi salam. We don't have time to go into all of them, but the staff and the locust and all the drought, all the different signs. Even at that moment, he says, you know what? The ocean has opened for me so that I can capture Musa alayhi salam. So they go inside, in between this dry part of the Dead Sea and this dry part of the Red Sea. And while they're in the middle, what happens? The Banu Israel crosses, and then, you know, they say, don't say a lie, because one lie leads to another lie, until eventually you get caught up in your own lie, and then it's too late. And so what happens? Fir'aun, he's in the dry part of the Red Sea, and now the command of Allah Ta'ala comes, the Red Sea closes. And now Fir'aun is drowning. All his people are drowning. He sees an entire life flashing before his eyes. He says, you know what? I have some time to go back. You know, we think to ourselves that, you know what? I'll live however I want. I'll just come to the masjid from Jumu'ah to Jumu'ah. I'll just, you know, sometimes I'll come to Salah, whatever. If I leave Salah now, it's whatever. I'll just, you know, when I get older, I'll worry about all of that. Fir'aun said, you know what? I have a little time. I can make it up. And so he says, لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل. There is no God except the God which Musa alayhi salam and Banu Israel, except the God which Banu Israel believe in. Why? Because he already attributed ilahiyah. He already attributed himself to being God. So even at that moment, he is thinking about whichever way he can divorce himself from every single statement he made before. He's trying to make a fresh start. But what happens? Sometimes when we delay things, it's too late. Fir'aun sees the signs of Allah Ta'ala, he sees the angels coming, and the nizam of Allah Ta'ala. And he said, and at that point, it is iman bil mushahada. He's seeing everything, the nizam of Allah Ta'ala. The test of Allah Ta'ala is to believe in Allah Ta'ala without seeing these things. That believing there is an entire system of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala is taking care of it. What do we see? We just see the results. But now Fir'aun is seeing the process. And so at this moment, he's saying that I believe in the God of Banu Israel. Wa ana min al-muslimin, and I am from those who submit themselves. What did Allah Ta'ala say? He didn't say, MashaAllah, you finally realized the right path. He said, Al-an, that now, after you see everything, وَقَدْ عَصَيْتَ قَبْلُ, and you disobeyed, and you neglected Allah Ta'ala, وَكُنْتَ مِنَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ, and you were from those who caused corruption and sowed corruption amongst the land. And then Allah Ta'ala, He not only causes Fir'aun and his army to drown, He preserves his body so that he can be a lesson for everyone else. فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ, that today we will preserve your body. لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً, so that you may become a sign for those who will become after. Respected friends, everything in this world is a sign which should direct us towards Allah Ta'ala. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was not a poet, but he loved poetry. And he said, وَأَصْدَقُ كَلِمَةً قَالَهَا الشَّاعِرُ, the most truthful statement a poet has ever said, كَلِمَةُ Labid, which Labid said. What did Labid say? أَلَا كُلُّ شَيْءٍ مَا خَلَى اللَّهَ بَاطِلُ وَكُلُّ نَعِيمٍ لَا مَحَالَةَ زَائِلُ, that everything except Allah Ta'ala, باطِلُ, it will come to an end. It will surely cease to exist. وَكُلُّ نَعِيمٍ, and every blessing that you have, everything around you, لَا مَحَالَةَ زَائِلُ, one day it will end. That is our mindset. That is how we should be with everything around us, and realize that this will all come to an end. And the only way to have true success, to have bounties which will last forever, to have a good life which will last forever, and have a true life of freedom. Today, the idea is that freedom is by fulfilling any of your desires. That if you want to do this, real freedom is for you to be able to do whatever you want. But the reality is that if we want true freedom, we have to submit ourselves to Allah Ta'ala. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ, that our God is not our desires. No, we submit to Allah Ta'ala. If we want to submit to Allah Ta'ala, right, and gain the help of Allah Ta'ala, we hear the ayah, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا, whoever is conscious of Allah Ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala will make a way out for him. We want to submit to Allah Ta'ala. But let's ask ourselves, how much do we know about Allah Ta'ala? Really, myself, I start speaking, I don't know how long I can go before I stop and I start thinking that, what more can I say about my God, about the one I am supposed to submit myself to, that on the Day of Judgment, I will present myself in front of my God. How much do I know about Him? How much can I talk about Him? Maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes? And even that is a big ni'mah from Allah Ta'ala in these days. So if we don't know anything about Allah Ta'ala, but we want to submit to Allah Ta'ala, our first step is to learn about Allah Ta'ala. Who is Allah Ta'ala? What is the system of Allah Ta'ala? Who are the Anbiya? Who are the Ahlullah? What is the Kitabullah? And that is our job. And what happens is that one of the biggest traps of shaitan is ignorance. When you are ignorant of someone, I'll end off in just a minute or two. But, I'll give an example. When someone goes overseas for the first time and they visit the mango seller. Now, the mango seller knows he is ignorant of the market, of the economy of that area. So he will give him prices far above what he charges the normal inhabitants of that city. And so why? Because he's using his ignorance to take advantage of him. So if we're ignorant of, not the mango prices, ignorant of Allah, then imagine the field day shaitan will have with us. And this is what we see around us. Why is atheism on the rise? Why are people doubting their own faith? The deen of Allah Ta'ala, the complete deen of Allah Ta'ala, the perfect deen of Allah Ta'ala. Why are people doubting their faith? It is not an issue in the deen. Respected friends, there is nothing wrong with the deen. The deen is perfect. The problem is with ourselves, that we are ignorant of Allah Ta'ala. We are ignorant of the nizam of Allah Ta'ala. And so the only way to combat ignorance is knowledge. And regarding that, inshallah, next week we have our annual retreat, which will be regarding our aqeedah, how we can learn about Allah Ta'ala. And we can't think to ourselves that, I'll just attend the next one. How do we know we'll even be Muslim by the next one? So we are given this opportunity. You're given an opportunity once, you're given an opportunity another time. But if you don't do shukr to Allah Ta'ala, why do you expect Allah Ta'ala to give you more? So we need to take advantage of these opportunities that we have. So inshallah, next week there will be a retreat regarding our aqeedah. The book that will be covered is Divine Realities with Shaykh Fahad Taslim. So I ask Allah Ta'ala that He allows us to become true Muslimin. He allows us to solidify our aqaid, and He allows us to enter Jannatul Firdaus. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Inshallah, we can get up for our sunnahs right now. Just some quick announcements. If everyone can please stand up and move forward, make sure not to leave gaps, and please make space for others. Please pass the donation boxes from the left to the right and donate generously. Sadaqah wards off calamities and draws the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. Additionally, please register for our upcoming Advanced Atheism Workshop led by Ustad Fahad Tasneem, the one which I was speaking about, which will take place on site next weekend, August 5th to the 7th. Again, August 5th to the 7th, it will be taking place on site. Admissions are currently open for the New Year Intensive for boys and girls, Tadris Integrated High School in the Alamiya program, and the 8th grade Tadris Prep, which is for girls only. Classes begin August 15th. Currently, we are hiring female Hifz teachers. We are hiring a male math and science teacher for middle and high school students. Additionally, ICNA Relief is having their annual back-to-school drive. You can drop off school supplies that you'd like to donate to children in need of the box, in the lobby. We have the Tuesday Tafsir, which is going on every week after Maghrib, so please join us. Inshallah, this week will be the 10th session of the Tafsir, and you can catch up on missed sessions on our YouTube channel. Additionally, we also have Team Fajr every Saturday, which will continue tomorrow also. Fajr Iqama is at 5 a.m., so please be there. Community breakfast will be served afterwards. There is also a request of dua for the maghfirah of Brother Malik Nasir Awan, and Brother Affan's grandmother is sick and admitted to the hospital. May Allah Ta'ala give her complete and swift shifa.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الحمد لله علي الذات عظيم الصفات سميع السمات كبير الشان جليل القدر رفيع الذكر مطاع الأمر جليل البرهان فخيم الاسم غزير العلم وسيع الحلم كثير الغفران جميل الثناء جزيل العطاء مجيب الدعاء عميم الإحسان سريع الحساب شديد العقاب أليم العذاب عزيز السلطان ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له في الخلق والأمر ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله المبعوث إلى الأسود والأحمر المنعوت بشرح الصدر ورفع الذكر وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه الذين هم خلاصة العرب العرباء وخير الخلائق بعد الأنبياء أما بعد فيا أيها الناس وحدوا الله فإن التوحيد رأس الطاعات واتقوا الله فإن التقوى ملاك الحسنات وعليكم بالسنة فإن السنة تهدي إلى الإطاعة ومن أطاع الله ورسوله فقد رشد واهتدى وإياكم والبدعة فإن البدعة تهدي إلى المعصية ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل وغوى وعليكم بالصدق فإن الصدق ينجي والكذب يهلك وعليكم بالإحسان فإن الله يحب المحسنين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله تعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم ودعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقيموا الصلاة
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
استووا واعتدلوا. Let's make sure we're all standing straight. All of our heels are aligned and our phones are on silent. الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.